Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening or afternoon, depending on which part of the world you're watching from. As part of the University of Wolverhampton's Black History Month programme, we are proud to present live from Detroit, no less, a reading from her book, We Want Our Bodies Back, poet, playwright and producer, Jessica Caremore. Welcome, Jessica.
Here. Hello, hi, thank you so much, Claire. I'm so excited to be here. Your intro was like very short and precise. So I'm used to people like going on for minutes and minutes. So I was like, wait, I was like sipping tea, like, oh wait, she's done. I want to just thank everyone. I see that people are still coming in. Really excited to be here for the Arts Festival. The plan was for me to be in Wolverhampton in person. And I was really excited about that. It was a part of my We Want Our Bodies Back came out in March. And so my tour in Europe was going to start in the UK, in Wolverhampton, and carry on hopefully to other cities. And so why is Wolverhampton important for me? For people who don't know, is my mother was born there. And so I traveled to London and different parts of the UK over the years, Oxford, Derby for the Chocolate Festival. And it just so happens serendipitously that my dear sister, Nikki Palmer, who I hope is here, and if not, she'll see this later, moved to Wolverhampton, of all places, from Detroit, and set up and started to live there, and has two and made some babies in Wolverhampton. And so I was in Derby, and I said, well, I've been wanting to come to Wolverhampton my whole life, and so now I have a place, a person to come see and a place to stay. So I came and I got to see Wolverhampton. I've now been there twice. I've taken my son there, and so the connection is real for me. I'm trying to get my mother to actually get on that big thing in the sky and go across the pond and go home and see where the place of her origin. But I do have a connection there because of my mother. But today I'm going to be reading from my fifth book, We Want Our Bodies Back, live from my living room. Again, just thank you everyone for being here. Performing and reading via Zoom sucks, but listen, this is what we have. So as an artist, I shifted my career and my work to this visual virtual space because that's where you are. And so I have to go to where the people are. That's what poets do. I'm going to read mostly from We Want Our Bodies Back, but because this is a reading sponsored in Wolverhampton, I'm going to start with a reading from my mother, from God Is Not an American. And then we'll tell you how to get my books. If any of y'all, you can get We Want Our Bodies Back anywhere. People in the UK have it already on Amazon or whatever, but my books are specifically at my website at jessicacaremore.com. So this is called Half American. It's from my mother. I'm going to try to read it without my reading glasses. I'm going to give that a whirl. I never really got you, non-American woman. Alien to loud boombox music, you were an Anne Murray and Barbara Streisand fan, reserved and sometimes British, always putting milk in our tea. What were you doing in segregated Detroit? Pushing out yellow black boys and then me, your reflection that would fight you back. Maybe you had my sister because you knew something more gentle and girl was inside of you. It couldn't just end with this scorpion double-tongued fire child with thick ponytails and more mouth than a Cadillac muffler. But I made you laugh. Even though you would cover your face, I could see you, curious creature that you were. It wasn't until my daddy died that I really wondered who you were. This brown-haired lady who I lived in the same house with most of my life. I wonder how you, Canadian improper, ever saw yourself living the rest of your life in this chocolate French city full of removed Southern Africans, giving birth to children, and this girl who would challenge you, debate your politics. It was your silence that scared me. I knew there was more going on inside your house, your body. I never understood why you didn't scream. And when you did finally feel fed up, unloved, confused, displaced, why you sometimes thought I could handle your anger. I was your stronger, oldest girl, your prosecutor, and your best defense. Still, you are the reason why I know all the songs on the soft rock station, why I still need milk in my black tea, why you have turned to coffee. You are the only person I trust with real tears. And without words or music or affectionate hugs, you know how the English are about showing emotion. I know you love me because you allowed me to be myself, even if you didn't get it at first. My nationalism, my love for Islam and Malcolm years later. You consider applying for your US passport. And I want to tell you no. Don't do it. You vowed after the 60s riots and the assassinations of Martin, Malcolm, and Kennedy to never become a citizen of this country. As I listen to your helpless complaints about the president and local government, I assure you today there are even more reasons for you to keep your silent protest alive. Maybe, if just for me, you are the reason I understand the beauty of cooking for someone you love and the great pride I have in only being half American. So I read that because I am actually in the process. I fought my mother because she was so in love with President Barack Obama. That was like her boyfriend for 8 years. And I had to tell her to not become an American citizen, though she wanted to, just so she could vote for Barack Obama, which I thought was fascinating. But I was like, please don't, because I'm working on my dual citizenship so I can come over to Wolverhampton and hang out and work. And maybe have a big old American break, which all of us could use right now. So this is We Want Our Bodies Back. And this book is very, very special to me. It's the title poem is for Sandra Bland. The poems are different. They're about a lot of different things, but most of all, it's about not the anti-silencing movement of Black women's voices. And so I'm actually gonna read the title piece. And again, my glasses haven't come out yet, so that means I'm doing okay. We want our bodies back for Sandra Bland. If Black women could be cut down, no, we move gently from American terrorism. Who would break our fall? Which direction will we travel to feel safe? Wild is the wind. If we could turn in this skin, these sharpened bones, this brain full of power and history, who would we resemble? Invisible doesn't come in Black. How many nervous breakdowns? How many funeral Black dresses? How many fibroids? How many nooses? How many of our bodies must be raped, cut into pieces, burnt inside garbage bags, buried? How many of us blossom a beautiful tree of life and pray their pride isn't cut down the middle, reduced to trunks, or a close friend doesn't die climbing their limbs, attempting to simply grow outside the gritty soil they were planted? I put a spell on you. Holly hobby ovens, Girl Scout cookies, and Barbie dolls. Don't prepare our revolutionary daughters born with capes and wings to have a pig's knee pushed into their backs. Girls raised by wolves, taught to disappear, to be quiet, to not talk about it. How much Black breath is allowed space in the state of Texas, a place that has sucked the life out of countless miscounted and counted brown, poor women die here. I got life. Sandra Bland got the death penalty for a traffic stop. Her body was 28 years young. How to make sense of our bodies burnt by cigarettes, bodies smoked out their neighborhoods, bodies with abandoned lungs and hearts, bodies mistaken for women when they are still girls. How do we construct a survival guide, a poem for our daughters' bodies without throwing up our breakfast? How do our mothers' bodies not implode after telling our sons to comply, to not speak up, to keep their heads down, to allow their bodies to be dragged by racist police? Jim Crow ain't never flown with this much wingspan, egos running for safety now, for their reach is deep in southern and Midwest, shadows the east, lands in the west. Texas, you will always be Mexico in denial. Poet Ron Allen asked for his body back in 1996, and we are still waiting. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want them returned to mothers without blood, without brains exposed, without humiliation, without bruises, without glass, without fire. We want our bodies back. We want our cities back, our culture back. We want our land back, our streets back, our freedom, our justice. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want them wrapped in white silk. We want them paraded around the White House. We want those flags you stand up for baseball games at half-mast. We want national holidays to honor our bodies, our knees, our prayers, our ears, our genitals, our eyes, our fingers, our feet. We want 21 gun salutes when we enter a damn room. We want our bodies back. We want them anointed in oils. We want them worn around your neck. We want them remembered. We want them worship on Sunday. We want our magic you try to bottle. We want our essence you attempt to steal. We want our elegance, our sex, our walk, our cool, our recipes, our intelligence, our science, our stars, our history. I want my Moroccan nose. I want my holy water breasts. I want my Maasai legs. I want my alien arms. I want my Ivory Coast mouth. I want our breath back. I want our time back. I want your foot off our girls' backs. I want all your badges back. I want you to evaporate into dust like swatted moths. Don't cut me down from the noose. Let my legs dangle for the devil. What a spectacular magic show. Why you turn the cameras off? Why you turn the cameras off? This is a simple ballet. You got front row. This is your venue. This cell, this hall is no one's home, is no place for a woman to die. You probably never heard of Judith Jameson, Catherine Dunham. Oh, we know how to get our legs in the air. We know how to elevate, use our bodies to tell a story of middle passage, of survivals, of lynchings. You have always loved our bodies under your control. Don't you touch me. Don't you take me down. Don't touch my body. Don't touch my music. Don't touch my patience. Don't touch my car door. Don't come near my window. Don't talk to me in that tone. This body of work got work to do. I'm resurrecting my body in new forms daily. Watch me in your deepest sleep. Black is the color of my true love's hair. Listen for my songs. Watch for my walk. Listen for my voice, my black girl attitude. Watch my body resist your death traps. Watch me rise. Watch my rebirth. Watch us rise up from this new Jim Crow, from these new unspoken apartheid laws. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We will take them, protect them, remember them, remind you, Sandra Bland. We will never forget your brown body, your mind, your pride, your spirit, your love, your vow to do God's work. We want your drive from Illinois to Waller County back. We want all our daughters back, and we want them back now. So that's the title piece from We Want Our Bodies Back. It's been an interesting few days. I'm working on an essay. I was just telling Claire about it on Patti Smith. And my connection to her as a poet. If people don't know my work, I don't know who's on as a participant, but if you're familiar with my work, I worked also a lot with a lot of music and have a jazz, soul, hip hop kind of project out called Black Tea, The Legend of Jesse James, and been producing a rock concert series called Black Women Rock for 16 years that celebrates Black women who play rock and roll from all over this country and outside of it, and bring all these Black women musicians together to reclaim a music genre that we created and don't get enough credit for. And so rock and roll, I grew up on that music. And so I'm doing recording during the pandemic, my first punk rock album with my poems. And Patti Smith has been one of my models for most of my career. But we've never met, never been connected. And I'm writing about us not being connected, though we are connected. And so I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep reading. I want to read something different because that one's just, just a balance for my energy to keep me going. I love people texting me during my show. I was like, I can't. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for all the brothers giving me love on my text message while I'm reading. So I'm from Detroit. And so one of my, when I say models, I mean, mentor or person that you look at and it's like, okay, that's my life can be something like that maybe one day. And so I've had lots of them. Sonia Sanchez is one. Aretha Franklin, who I live in historic Boston, Edison. So Aretha Franklin is another. I'm putting on my sexy reading glasses because this is in italics. I don't know why I did that, but it's in italics. And just so you guys know, this is We Want Our Bodies Back is on HarperCollins Amistad. I'm the first Black woman poet to be published by HarperCollins since Gwendolyn Brooks. So a pretty big deal. Before that, I've been publishing since 1997, publishing the voices of other poets that you may have heard of. Saul Williams was my first poet, Raz Baraka, Asha Madeli, Danny Simmons, and countless others. And so that's all through More Black Press. And so taking a break from the press, I have a wonderful poet named Brad Walron, whose work I'm going to be publishing in early 2021. But publishing is thankless work, but we do it, don't we? Aretha and August. Aretha's voice is what God sounds like in my city. She is the sound of a Black Jesus, Holy Ghost chased with hair grease and cognac, the smell of Granny's Sunday breakfast, pressing combs and tendered scalp, the beat of every little girl's holy broken heart, a symphony of gospel gunshots, pool halls, police sirens, protests, rebellion, vinyl records, and late Friday night basement parties, a score conducted like the first time a girl feels like a woman in full control of a bedroom, and even so, always love. Her voice, a command of conjure, defiant and soulful. Her pain collected ours as a people, as women. Aretha was a teen mother, and she struggled with things that all women before their time struggle with. Women who unapologetically walk in their power, balancing the men they love while still loving their own damn bodies. Forced to get on stages all over the world, smile and sing despite quiet, personal battles, keep our stomachs flat, our bodies tight like little girls, be the entertainment even when sick or simply exhausted. Aretha's discography was the rattling bicycle chain sound of my childhood in the 70s. She was the familiarity of future divorces and the chain of fools I fall in and out of love with as I became in my own right a voice in the world, a voice that often made men who are not whole shadow in my light. I have a series of poems that I wrote for Aretha Franklin. That's just one of them that I like to do. So I want to read this. So this poem is called I Used to Be a Roller Coaster Girl. So Ntozake Shange was also one of my mentors and models, right? She wrote a very famous play called For Color Girls. I hope that you all know that already. She's one of the first Black women on Broadway. with her Korea poem, and that later became a film. But the play and the book is much better than the film. The film gets very melodramatic. What I did love about the film is that I got to see one of my heroes. Her monologues were intact, and to see them on film on a big screen actually made me cry. And so, balance in all things. Everyone's not going to get it perfect. So if you don't like what someone's doing as an artist, you have to make your own art. And so that's what I do. and, instead of complaining about what people aren't doing correctly. But I loved Intozaki Shange, and I had the very distinct pleasure of spending some time with her in Miami, Florida. Her, Intozaki, Sonia Sanchez, and the Last Poets were all in Florida for a festival called the Moon Festival that Sister Poet Aja Monet put together. And I came to the festival on my own. I wasn't even supposed to be participating. I wasn't being paid to be there. I just wanted to be there. I wanted to support the festival. And I got to spend my mornings at breakfast with these legends. And she died not too much longer after that, the October of the same year, a few years ago, right before my birthday, actually. So the anniversary of her death is coming. And so this is for Intozaki. I used to be a roller coaster girl. And this is for all girls who love roller coasters and maybe the people that can't keep up with their speed. I used to be a roller coaster girl. 7 times in a row, no vertigo in these skinny legs. My lipstick bubblegum pink as my Panther 10 speed, never kiss. Nappy pigtails, no brand gym shoes, white line, yellow short shorts, scratched up legs, paddling past borders of hummus and baba ganoush, mosh chairs and liquor stores, city chicken, pepperoni bread, and Superman ice cream cones. Yellow black blending with bits of Arabic, Islam, and Catholicism. My daddy was Jesus. My mother was quiet. Jane Kennedy was worshipped by my brother Mark. I don't remember having my own bed before 12. Me and my sister Lisa shared. Sometimes all 3 moral girls slept in that queen. You grow up so close, never close enough. I used to be a roller coaster girl, wild child full of flowers and ideas, useless crushes on Polish boys in a school full of white girls, future black swan singing Zeppelin, U2 and Rick Springfield, hoping to be Jesse's girl. I could outrun my brothers and everybody else to that recurring line. I used to be a roller coaster girl till you told me I was moving too fast, that my rush made your head spin, my laughter hurt your ears, a scream of happiness, a scream of freedom pouring out my armpits, sweating up my neck. You were always the scared one. I kept my eyes open for the entire trip. Right before the drop, I would brace myself and let that force push me back into that hard iron seat. My arms nearly fell off a few times, so I kept running back to that line. When I was done, same way, I kept running back to you. I used to be a roller coaster girl. I wasn't scared of mountains or falling. Hell, I look forward to flying and dropping off this earth and coming back to life every once in a while. I found some peace in being out of control, allowing the blood to rush through my veins for 180 seconds. I earn my sometimes nicotine pull. I buy my own damn drinks, and the ocean still calls my name when it feels my toes near its shore. I still love roller coasters. And you grew up to be afraid of all girls who could ride fearlessly like me. So there's that. I'm going to read the poem that comes next. I never read this poem, so it's called Because If I Don't Write. And so what I will say to people who are here who are writing is to please write, because no one can tell your story the way you can, yeah, no one can. And so this is called Because If I Don't Write. Because if I don't write, my body will finally cave or I will evaporate. Because if I don't write, Black girls won't know I left them a trail of tears to find themselves so they can get lost again and one day find me. Because if I don't write, someone will say Sylvia Plath and Emily Dickinson did not shit on a toilet or ever go outside. Intozaki Shange will never discover rainbows. Maya Angelou won't ever speak. And I will have to convince myself that a man who is 5'6" can actually date me. Keep writing. Keep writing. Because if I don't write, my fingers may fall off or my tea kettle may melt and lose its defiant whistle, or the Detroit Pistons would have never moved back downtown. I swear I put candles on that. Because if I don't write, you will write for me. Tell historians that Black girls were crazy, invisible, lost in time, wishing to turn our bodies inside out, become unrecognizable to our own mothers, desecrate our faces because we hate our own mirrors. Because if I don't write, There will never be a superheroine named Salt who will save the future by her ability to see herself in it. Because if I don't write, I will live in fear and die with hope, never laugh, fight, or dream, just cope. Because if I don't write, you will write me off or academically erase me. I know prophets have died for PhDs. I write to live, to prove that Black girls everywhere, we are possible, and the world we created with one comedic push belongs to us too. And the world belonging to us too is my Baba Amiri Baraka, who was one of my teachers, my heroes, one of the founders of the Black Arts Movement, who we lost. He's amazing. He was actually one of, so cool. You guys are in my house, so I can play with you a bit. But this is Razor, one of his huge, beautiful books he signed for me. But when he signs his books, he always signed them, "The world belongs to you too." So sometimes we need a reminder of that. So I want to read this. I'm kind of in a space talking. I want to talk about love a little bit. And this is called "She Was." And "She Was" is I wish I could say, I'm so crazy. I'll start pulling things from my house and showing you shit. But I some years ago, in like 2010, 2009, I went to an artist residency. I never had the luxury of going to an artist residency. I've been raising my son, King, who's 14, on my own since he was 10 months old. What I thought I could do as an artist, it was just different. Residencies, you 3 weeks, 4 weeks away. When you are the sole participant in parenthood, it's not easy to do that. And he was quite young. I think he was like 4 years old, but it's my first time leaving him. And I got a residency with Radcliffe Bailey. Radcliffe is a very famous painter here in the States and abroad for sure, and well collected around the world. I think after Basquiat died, he's that generation, he became even more well known. He's a dear friend of mine though. He asked me to apply for this residency. And I said, okay, well, what the hell do you want me to do? Because I don't paint. And he's like, just apply. And so I applied, and the residency brought 7 writers, 7 painters, and 7 composers. And so I'm a collaborator. I'm the ultimate collaborator. So I collaborated with Daniel Bernard Romain, who's my friend to this day, DBR, who's the violinist, played with Lady Gaga and everybody. He was the master composer. And then there were 7 writers there. So I'm nerding out with all my writer community and, helping them and doing collaborations with them and everyone, whatever. I'm just collaborating with everybody. Luke Aaron Clark, who's actually my brother from the UK. Shout out to Luke Aaron Clark. I love him. Who's a musician and installation artist, and was at the residency as a composer. So we did work he played piano and he sang my poems. So everything but the visual, I was there with 6 other visual artists, not knowing what the hell I was supposed to do. And finally I went thrifting, which is when you just go to like antique stores and you're kind of looking at old stuff and you're trying to be inspired. So I went thrifting with Radcliffe and ran into this lamp that used to be a lamp, and it was a decapitated Black African woman, looks like an African woman. And she was in pieces in a box. And I just grabbed it and I said, I want this. And I got fishing net. And then I went back to the residency and went into the library with Radcliffe. And he started showing me all these books on people who had done work with language and sculpture. And I was like, wait, so I'm a conceptual artist. And it was a big aha moment for me. I've been making art, visual art ever since. I don't think I'm great, but I know, and this is what Radcliffe said to me, I can think, therefore I can make art. And so he said, just take one of the lines of your poems and just turn that into something that people can look at. So I went crazy. I took over the whole sculpture studio. I did political broadsides. I put palm leaves on the thing. I made a whole meditative space for this lamp. I put her back together, made her Yemenya. Needless to say, she is the she is the person inside this piece. She was. And it's me kind of joking about being married a lot of times. I've said no a lot, but I have said yes a few times. And yes, I've said no more than yes, that's for sure. And I work on perfecting my no. Because as you get older, you realize like love comes in your life in different kinds of ways and doesn't have to be the traditional Western way that everyone sees love. And I'm a poet, so I love hard, So this is called She Was. I have convinced myself I speak French. Somehow I will find a way to make a perfect sound in un-English. I don't know what else to do with this language, set murder it, dig out its eyes, every vowel till it suffocates, choke the breath out this alphabet. I need more than 26 letters to articulate how I survived you, how we survived calculated attempts to blow the heads off our sons, slavery in a digital world. I have buried all the men I've loved and will ever love before you could ever get to them. Now what, motherfucker? I won't allow you the privilege of their death. You will not capture my personal ghosts, make them your public pride. I will swallow them down, set a whiskey straight, but you don't drink, poet. The round table turns square. I'm not drunk enough to make a clear sentence. I prefer a sober hallucination. The pill of this country is difficult enough to chase. Water, no ice, is watching me dance with myself and everyone else in this cynical room. You know I'm making love to you. I don't have to tell you your ear is attached to the side of your head. These few seconds pulled against your chest is honeymoon in Jamaica. The editors are resisting my twist and plot. We pose for a photo that is really not about the photo. Is this a poem or a romance? The poems know I got a trail of hearts following behind the train, tied around my waist, dragging loud, empty canned ideas left over from one of those marriages so long ago I can't remember what I wore underneath. Poems never really want to commit. What are you putting on that? Why are you putting on that red dress to camouflage the bloodshed of the off-white failure? Babatunde played drums. Imani Azuri sang. Veil full of ivory cowries couldn't turn the cloisters into the door, no return. We always return in new forms. Horses, red dresses, convertible Mustang, quite gangster, my daddy must have yelled from his Madison, Alabama grave. I will kill him because our daddy would have, whispered my brother Ed, pacing in front of our 3,000 square foot lie. Jessica is always in love. Love is a distraction from love. Life is a conceptual art installation. I found my body in ceramic pieces, thrifting in New Smyrna, Florida, with Radcliffe Bailey, plastered Afro Yemaya, left hand removed, decapitated flower, thick white curls still in place despite the nets. Used to be somebody's light, used to be somebody's light. She spoke French, Senegalese dialect. Our bodies fell in love before they could hide the evidence. Re-glued our stories, Queen Kuntas. She wears the same mauve petals my grandmother wore in that one photo I possess of her. You get used to not ever knowing your grandparents. Figure the ocean is our most authentic photo album. Tide don't lie. Here comes another body crashing against the family tree. We just know we Moors conquered Spain. There's that one photo my daddy kept of my great grandfather in full feather headdress. My indigenous DNA test wasted. Traces of Southern comfort, shotguns, deer meat, afro still in place. Piss test found Nat Turner promises in one page of his Bible. Piss test swam to Huntsville, well full of moonshine and moonlight. How can one bladder hold all that water? You got an ocean between your legs, girl. Oh, y'all laugh. Aretha died a little more every time we played the record. Naima, inspired. Naima, what else do you want from us? You never forget the ones you killed early. They haunt you. You will not have my sons. Écoutez, you will not have my sons. I don't know what else to do with this language. Said, kill it. Marriage isn't for everyone, said the woman who wants to screw my husband. She was right, but death is a commitment we all make. Who will pick out my dress? Who will interrupt? Refuse this wedding to continue? The flower girl has my grandmother's eyes. And Mary Baraka got my daddy's moonshine in his left pocket. Her body, ashes along an amethyst skyline, convertible white caddy racing across the clouds, body pushing hard against the wind, decapitated afro, pitchfork combs through nappy deferred dreams. She was perfectly positioned for takeoff. Check the skies for the purple smoke. Poem still recovering from the self-inflicted fire. I promise she was somebody's light. Whew. I'm having fun. I hope y'all are too. So read through these poems. Read this. I want to read this. This is for Detroit. So yeah, Detroit is a Black city. Very Black, beautiful city. And would you ever, don't have a question yet, say hi, I love you too, Karis. And I'm saying hi. Would you ever collaborate with Yasin Bey? Yasin Bey, one of my best friends in the whole world. I just talked to him a few days ago. I know him as Dante Smith, AKA Most Def, AKA Yasin Bey. And we've been friends since 1995. We have collaborated as friends. Yeah, me and Mo we should record, something, but we love each other very much. And he's one of my dear, dear friends. He's my family. And yeah, I'll tell him that you said that. I'll text him after this and tell him, yo, somebody thinks we should do something together. You know, I've done a lot with Talib Kweli, as you know. I have my album Black Tea was put out by the other half of Black Star. But for both of those brothers are like my brothers. They're my friends. And Dante is one of the loves of my life. You know, Yasin Bey is one of my favorite people. I'm so proud of what's happened with him. But we were on open mics together in '95 in Brooklyn. So the answer to that is yes. But I mean, I don't need to collaborate with him as an artist necessarily. I talked to him about publishing some of his poems, which maybe I'll do that one day. But this is called Where Are the People? And this is for Detroit. And Where Are the People was, I'm sure, I know Wolverhampton, I'm not sure I mean, it's funny when I went to Wolverhampton, when I was there, the mayor of Wolverhampton was a Southeast Asian brother. And do you know, I sent him a letter and I asked to have tea with him or asked to just to meet with him. I told him, hey, my mother's from Wolverhampton. I want to meet with you. And him and his wife had tea with me. It was really miraculous. And he asked me some incredible questions, but he was, I think, one of the first brown families to integrate Wolverhampton. And so, yeah, and he asked me like about President Obama, like, is he really helping like Black people? And I told him I thought that President Barack Obama would be even more powerful in post as the president. And the president, there's too many rules and BS you have to follow when you're a politician. And I think he does even better now outside of being in that White House, even though we do miss him dearly because we have a Nazi madman, you know, as the figurehead right now that we have to get rid of very soon. This is called Where Are the People? And it's for the bodies we can no longer locate. And I wrote this poem. There's an area in Detroit that when I grew up was called the Cass Corridor. And now they call it Midtown. So it's, you don't know, gentrification is the same everywhere, in London, everywhere, right? In every country where there's urban renewal or reimagining of any place where Black and brown bodies are. Like I used to be in Brixton all the time. And shout out to Malika Booker. I used to stay at her house. And I think her birthday's this week. Shout out, I love you, Malika B. And she, you know, so there was a big Brixton connection. And we would, all the New York poets would come over in the 90s and do readings for not a lot of money, but we just wanted to go. And, you know, shout out to Roger Robinson and Lim Cisse and beautiful writers, Jonesy D, who I just did, We Want Our Bodies Back. He just used my poem and created an incredible film called Our Bodies Back. And I hope you all get a chance to see that. It's released by Sadler Wells over in the UK, and they're doing a big screening of it. I'm missing so much stuff not being there. Anyway, so this is called We Want to Where Are the People? And it's about me going to get a pizza with my son from a new pizza spot in what they call Midtown. And they put pepperoni on it. And we literally drove for a half hour up, down Cass. It would have been the Cass Corridor, which would have been a place that had, at one time, a lot of the mentally ill, from a lot of veterans on the street, people suffering from heroin addictions, and just homelessness. And so we couldn't find anyone to give the pizza to because we don't eat pepperoni. And so I wrote this for them. Where are the one-way tickets? Who signed the death certificates? Where are the magicians, the madmen, the toothless, the smoothless, the poets, the corner store prophets, the bus stop historians, the traffic stoppers? Where are the people? Where are the blues? Under which pile of gravel? Where are they buried? Hurricane Cass Corridor. Where is the soil, the soul, the socks, the soles, the shoes? Where is the heroin? Where is the pills? Where are the women? Where are the thrills? Where is Cass Corridor? My student asked. Is it a building? Is it this way? Is it that way? Your school is sitting in it. I answer, you is it? The dogs are walking the people. The dogs are walking the people. The dogs have parks. The parks don't have children. Where are the people? The stepped over, the forgotten Holocaust, the fragile, the beautiful, the fast talkers, the backward walkers, the 3 a.m. stalkers. Where did they take them? When will they return? Where is the balance? Where is the money? Where are the schools? Where are the people? Where are the people? We all got Wi-Fi. Nobody getting high outside. Where are they beds? Where is their heads? Where are the recognizable street signs? Where is Joe Louis? Where are the Black people? My white neighbor asked me, Jessica, where are the Black people? Where are the chosen people? Where are our hearts, our guitars, our bass players, Kenny Mack, Anthony Tolson, rest in peace? Where are the anointed, the children of God? Where is the sage, the holy water? Where is the Black imagination located? How much does it cost per square feet to rent there? Is there a rent to own your own Black imagination option? Where are the couples fighting in the alleys? Where are the purple flavor Mad Dog 2020 labels? Where are the needles? Where is the good time? Where did all these goddamn bike lanes come from? Where is the line to simply exist? I know y'all got bike lanes in UK. Where is the line that simply exists? Where is the painted line to live, to breathe? Where are the parks with swings? Where are the children supposed to live? Where are the children supposed to run? Where are the twilight teasers, the moonlight mythology makers? Where are the military vets? Where are mentally ill? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people? San Francisco, Oakland, Harlem, Detroit, Chicago. Do you know? Do you know, huh? Have you seen them? They all died. So New Detroit could live. Do they all die? So New Detroit could live. Where is your conscience? Where is this nonsense coming from? Where is humanity? Where are the people? Where are the people? The one-way tickets, the message is still in the bottle. Where are the indigenous? Where are the salt mines? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people when you find them? Please tell them. I have an overpriced, gentrified cheese and pork pizza with their names on it. Tell them I am writing for them so they won't disappear without a fight. So I have time. I want to read something different. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to stop around 140-ish so we can take some questions, but if we don't have a lot of questions, if you guys want to talk to me in the chat, you can too. This is called The Magician's Mother, and it's kind of just, I tell jokes to myself a lot. I think it's important not to take yourself too damn serious. And so I'm a poet, so I have full romances in my head about people that I've never met. And then like Jimi Hendrix, I have full like afterlife plan for him. And then sometimes I interact with men. I have very intimate romantic friendships with brothers. And I sometimes can just like take that little space of like romance that we have that isn't really much more than just like a nice, close, flirty friendship and turn it into like a full film. And so this is called The Magician's Mother. My son King does magic. He does a lot of things. He plays piano. He writes poetry. He's dope, but he's also a magician. And so I was with a poet friend of mine in the Bay, and this is called The Magician's Mother. And this certain person is quite tall, which is normally how I like to see men taller than me. I have a thing. I'm trying to work on it. So this is called The Magician's Mother. The Magician's Mother says, make him appear, love. Turn my legs into ladders. Ace of spades. This altitude is breaking my breath. Lean in and kiss his gangster, his unruly beard resting against your cheek. What's wrong with a woman who gets turned on by his willingness to take out the man near her passenger side window? Romance might need redefinition. Detroit definitely is in the water of her blood. Alice Coltrane at midnight, driving up hills that only lead me to reality. Driving up hills. Hold on, I'm messing up. Okay, there we go. Driving up hills that only lead me to reality. She never wants to leave you. He leaves so honestly. In a poem, they make love countless times. In a poem, they are Black Bonnie and Clyde shooting mics and stealing ink for new pens. In a poem, Amiri Baraka is alive, giving them his blessing. Magicians can't make fathers who call or soulmates who show up in the correct decade. Hearts disappear from the deck. Somebody made the rabbit a late night snack. Poet decides to withdraw from the ongoing romance novel in her brain, draws herself a blues, plays a Robert Johnson record, decides he ain't gonna ever touch me, decides he ain't ever gonna touch me. I know what electricity feels like from a cool distance. I am not half of a moon. 40 years from 50, doing the math on giving him a son, he is that beautiful, said my high heels, wonder and smoky, just enough to make me want to inhale a clove again, just enough to wrap this supreme Holy Ghost Motown sound around his waist. Hand clap replaces the rooster. She too chicken to tell his long arms to hold her. The most memorable moments are temporary. All those hours on that unnamed, renamed peninsula collided with a hell of a lot of magic, birthed a few new poems, no tricks, all in plain sight. And I think I have time for one more. I also want to tell you also about another connection I have with, just with England though. I did some work. I did a solo theater show called There Are No Asylums for the Real Crazy Women, based on the life of T.S. Eliot's wife, Vivian Eliot. And Apples and Snakes back in the day used to bring poets over a lot, and they helped me get an ID to the Oxford Library. And I took the train to Oxford from London to read all of Vivian's diaries. And so I'm planning on relaunching that piece onto a stage sometime in the future. But it's a beautiful work just about the idea of what mental illness and what happened to Vivian Eliot, where T.S. Eliot became this exalted poet that everyone respected. and she got put away and died, paying for her own incarceration, and really never. And all the books, like if you look at T.S. Eliot's first editions, they're all for Viv. And so he remarried a woman named Valerie Elliott. And in the newer editions, the for Viv is gone. Even though he absolutely was inspired from The Wasteland to Ash Wednesday, like literally took words out of Vivian's mouth because she was amazing. She was before her time. And I'm infatuated with women who are before their time. Um, because I am one too. And so I like these chicks a whole lot. I can really relate to them. And I say that to say I guess I want to end with this poem. I was gonna do my Ruby and Ozzy poem, but I want to end with this. Oh, I don't know if I have time. It's too damn long. I need to find a short poem. I'll do this. When you are a woman, when you are brown, when you are brave, when you walk over glass like water, when you know your eyes are borrowed like time, when you peel off your skin for the very first time. Fear is never in style in the Mecca of the blue. Fear never lives in the gut of the new. You want poems, and I want to build my home. You want poems, and I just want love in my hands. You want poems, and I'm not interested in fans. You love me inside my magic, and I just want you to see you already had it. It is the telling when someone asks. It's the way he holds the glass, licks the surface, examines without touching. It's the way our energy takes over rooms. It is the subtle conversation. It is the freedom of emancipated language. It is words scribbled inside my skin. It's the curve of the line, the beauty of the lies. Stories passed down to, oh my God, what is it? Through pain and pride, ocean and tide. Water remembers, water returns. African mermaids blending with dark sand. It is the danger of the dance, the upright bass of the heart, the dice roll drum, the cymbal tease, the last laugh, the addiction to this moment. Where else do I put it? Don't know where to put it. Place it, bury it deep in my chest, back of my throat. Where should I hide it? On this stage. Should I give it to you? Here is my honesty, my work undressed, legs stretched across piano, traded like cattle, raped like animal, left for dead, sucked dry for inspiration, in love with the idea of living long enough to simply write about it, push it out my body and watch my son slowly grow into it. You said you wanted a poem. And what you gonna do with it? Huh? Billy, Phyllis, Abby, Whitney, Etta, how much time you got? I'm a body of clocks. I'm a master of mics. I'm a metaphor for survival. I'm the gold they use to build their churches, a beautiful idea to flirt with, but who should I marry? The moonlight, a white dove, a wolf, some Eastern music, a prayer? How many babies we gonna make inside a song? Which revolution, which nation shall we rule? The island of the spirit world, the beauty of the believers, the carpenters, the men who build the dream and place you on the front line of their planet. One day, the stars will line up between breath and ink and voice, between reality and choice. It is the danger of the dance, the upright bass of the heart, the dice roll drum, the cymbal tease, the last laugh, the addiction to this moment. Okay, I'm gonna stop there so I can have time to talk to people who might want to talk to me. And then I'll do one last poem if we don't have a lot of questions. So thank you, Wolverhampton School of Art. I love y'all. I'm coming in real life as soon as this thing is gone. We gotta start with having some new leadership in our country to get our space safer. So hopefully you guys will get a little safer, and then I'm gonna come on over. So I don't know if Claire's gonna come back on or
Yeah.
I see questions. There you are.
Hi. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a few questions.
Okay, cool.
One from Tom. He says, you mentioned Malcolm X earlier in your introduction. I wonder if you knew that he visited Smethwick, which is next to Wolverhampton. This was in February 1965, and then he was shot a few weeks later.
Wow. No, I didn't know he was there. I mean, I knew he had just been in Detroit.
I didn't know that either.
No, but yeah, no, he's a big inspiration. Being from Detroit, we love him here. He's an icon, Detroit Red, and it actually was the name of my first band was Detroit Red, but I spelled it READ. So Malcolm, like a lot of us, got informed about this country through his biography. My son, I've given it to him now. It's maybe even my son may not even still not be ready at 14. I read it pretty young, but Malcolm's a big influence. But that's beautiful. I want to read up more on him coming to the UK. I have a brother. Go ahead.
Sorry. It just goes on to say he had heard about a local politician who was campaigning to be elected based on an openly racist campaign, and he wanted to see what was happening for himself. I mean, that's really great that he did that.
That's interesting. And there's, you know, when I came to the UK for the first time, I don't know if Pardeep is on here, but one of my dear friends, Pardeep, I met, he was one of the first, this brother, Southeast Asian brother who was down with the Nation of Islam. And I had never met a Southeast Asian brother, you know, that was down with the nation, who was British, like, you know, this British accent, but this brown, beautiful man, aesthetically beautiful, who had memorized the poem that I wrote for Farrakhan called One Bad Brother and was reciting it back to me. So I didn't even realize that even the Nation of Islam had any kind of influence or, you know, what they had done. I know they globally other places, but not necessarily in the UK. And so I learned that when I first came to my first tour in Europe was in UK with Paul Beatty. I was on a tour with Paul Beatty with Jonesy D and a woman that was called Mad Melissa at the time, and Jonesy D. And I learned a lot. You know, it was amazing. We went to Manchester and Liverpool and all over the place. And so, yeah, Malcolm, you know, like Islam has been influence, is a big influence all over the world. But I think that the radical civil rights movement, the Black Panther Party movement, all those movements now, some of the younger kids are getting to know that again and learn that history. And I'm watching people all over the world take to the streets in places like the UK and also in Paris and of course here nonstop. And so, you know, they weren't talking about something that wasn't real. That's for sure. And with the current regime in place, and that's what I call it because that's what it is. We have seemed to gone backward in time in this country. And so things like that I've been talking about for quite some time now, since my very first book in 1997, The Words Don't Fit in My Mouth. I mean, not enough has changed. You know, even with 8 years of President Barack Obama in office, here we are, you know, dealing with this thing. There's no such thing as a post-racial anything. We're right in the trenches, and I think prayerfully we'll get to the other side of that pandemic in a better way one day. So it's going to take some time, though.
Yeah. This one's from Caris. She said, I'd like to know what it was like touring with Dave Chappelle and also say hi to King.
Okay, how's it? King's at school upstairs, virtually schooling. So I've never toured with Dave. This summer, my son has opened for him twice, and I have performed with him. So Dave is a good friend of mine. I've known him since 1995. Also, same as I've known Yassine Bey and Talib. We all came up together. So when I was a poet in New York, I was also on the comedy scene because I was from Detroit, and I would literally read poems anywhere, like comedy shows, jazz clubs, whatever, the store, the movie theater, the lobby of I didn't care. And so I just came with this energy of like, my poems, everyone needs to hear these poems. And with comics, it's a microphone and an audience. And so I used to do Caroline's, and I remember Dave, it was so funny because he introduced me at this event. It was me and Mums the Schemer. Mums, who's a poet from New York, who's in town in Detroit shooting a film with Don Cheadle right now, which is pretty fascinating. And so I'm hoping to see him. But we're both on this gig, and Dave said, "Jessica, you're gonna be famous one day," you know. And he was one of the first people that called me. I'm in the Smithsonian Museum of African American History in a very big way on a very large screen. For now, I don't know if I'll stay up there. There's a new director. Maybe he'll take me down. But I've been up there since the opening of the thing, and it's my picture and my poem. And he was like, "I told you, you know." And so Dave is my friend. So I mean, it's not like anything being on tour with him or working with him. He loves my work, and I love his work, and he knows and respects that my voice. And so his Yellow Springs, which has been incredible for all of us artists, family, been coming to Ohio is about 3 hours where Dave lives. He lives about 3 hours away from me. So I've been able to drive in town every month. And he has had a stage all summer set up in the middle of a cornfield. So I performed in June, but all kinds of folks have been down there. Chris Rock, David Letterman, Jon Stewart, Common, Questlove, Erica's come, like everybody. We all going there. These are people who have known each other for like 25 years. So for us, it was Donnell Rawlings. Shout out to Donnell. We were playing like kickball and eating together, getting COVID tested every 3 days. And it felt kind of magical, you know. So I love him, Andy Lane, very much. Him and his wife kind of opened up this city to these crazy artists. And we created community. And that's the power of artists. Like we actually are the ones that will change the world, I think, inevitably, because we get it. We get it. So
I think that comment has kind of run through all of the talks today, you know, that art and how we can discuss things through it,
That's right.
it is going to be sort of the way. So
It's how we heal. It's how I'm able to do this. I had to pick myself off the floor, Claire, like, because in Detroit, like the COVID cases, we're like 12 to 50% of the population in Michigan, but we're in Detroit, a highly concentrated Black city. We're 45% of the COVID cases. And so the death rate with our community alone was high. And I know a lot of people. I mean, I met 30 plus people who have died. And I haven't been able to mourn my good friends that have died. My friend Nikki's dead. My friend Marlo's dead. My friend Brenda. I mean, so I had to figure out a way to like pick myself up from that and say, what is your purpose right now? Because all your gigs are gone. So your money's gone. So all I ever have left besides my kid is my poems. I was like, I got my poems still. So I got to do something with these poems and share it and help people feel lifted. And so that's what I've been doing with my work. And in that process, it's helped me, be okay and be able to make a joke or laugh or still write and be inspired. And, the DJs that come on and keep us, going, all that, it's helpful. And so art is needed more than ever. And art has always been needed, but I think people are feeling that more.
I agree. I totally agree. We've just really got a couple of shout outs. So shout out to my big sis. We love from Nadia, Jaden and Nikki. They're eating their
Nikki. Oh yes, Nadia. Oh my goodness. I love you. I miss you, Nadia. I miss you, Jaden. I love you, Nikki. That's my Wolverhampton family.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they're probably just up the road from here. So that's funny.
I miss them.
Paris said, sorry, just going back to Dave Chappelle, when she saw your Instagram post, she assumed that you were touring with him. So.
Well, he's not touring anywhere. He's at home. We're just coming over. We're over at his house. So we spent some time. He hosted beautiful Sunday dinners for us outside on his property, and but the fact that Dave gets it, like, I think myself and Amir Suleiman were probably the only poets that performed on that stage all summer. And so it's mostly a comedy stage, but he understands that we're connected as artists, so he's my peer, he's wicked and fierce and brilliant. And so is everyone around him. So it's a crew of geniuses that I'm happy to say I call them friends. And they were my sanity the whole summer. I'm so absolutely thankful.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of reading another poem if we have time.
Yeah. I mean, just a few comments, really, just to say thanks. And
no, those are important.
They are.
I don't know. So shout out to, I don't know if there's any more. Okay, yeah. So if there's not like a question. Nope. Yep. And I already answered that one. Okay. So I want to read this poem. So Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee were and are like a big inspiration for me as far as like, I mean, they're the voices of Black theater here in the States, especially. So they've both passed on. And I wrote this poem when Ruby Dee's funeral happened the day after Sonia Sanchez's 80th birthday celebration. And I love Ruby Dee so much. And if you are listening and don't know who Ossie Davis or Ruby Dee are, you should look them up. They're just, revolutionary voices in theater. And it wasn't easy for Black people to be in fine spaces, especially back then, like in the 60s and 70s. And so, dear Ossie, dear Ruby. Dear Ossie, dear Ruby, do you still put roses in her hair? Do you still draw the clouds and fluff them for her head? Is her son still sleeping in his eyes? Is heaven a place among his chest? Are you resting in a timeless embrace? Do you still make her laugh? Does it still matter? Do you hold her hands, diamonds hidden inside palms and fingers? Is eternity inside his kiss? Do you tie his tie, adjust his chapeau? Do you dance in the morning? Do Amiri and Maya and Jane and Gil and Sekou visit to drink grapes and share stories? Dear Ossie, dear Ruby, some of us dare to be the exception, dare to be conductors of Black love. Do you still love to love? Do you still love to be still while the world travels at full speed? How glorious to watch our attempts to become the Black doves you became. Do you still fly south for the winter, pick pecans and eat round sweet cherries on a long wooden porch? Dear Ossie, Thank you for your kind words in Harlem when I nervously shared that Abyssinian stage with you. Dear Ruby, thank you for your fearlessness and hard laugh in the lobby of the Schomburg in Harlem. I slept Denzel Washington, an American gangster. It wasn't in the script, you told me. I can hear your beautiful stutter. Planned pauses land gracefully on your tongue. Ego woman, the morning of your funeral, I spent the evening celebrating our sister Sonia Sanchez's 80th birthday. I watched her and Haki get in a car, headed to Harlem. I was in so much pain from losing Amiri. I wasn't ready to bury another legend. Forgive me, dear Ruby. Dear Ozzy, we know we are possible. We know we can be gazelles on a planet surrounded by wolves. Is his voice the sound of water? Is her smile the perfect moonlight? Do you remember when it was all a dream? Do you still love to get on your toes, to reach his nose, kiss his neck? Is she still your Juliet in a Spike Lee joint? Is he still the mayor, mother, sister? Dear Ozzy, dear Ruby, thank you for loving us. Thank you for loving each other. We marvel in your reflection. Thank you for your life work, for your voices and bodies as gifts. Now that you are true stars, do you know you were our greatest wish? So I got to meet and work with both of Ozzy Davis and Ruby D. I knew Ruby D well, but Ozzy Davis was someone I did a reading with at the Abyssinian Baptist Church, and I was nervously sitting next to him, and he literally. I did my reading and I was scared because it's Ozzy Davis, and if you know Ozzy Davis's voice, it's like Paul Robeson. It's Ozzy Davis. It's amazing. And I sat down next to him after my reading. We were reading slave narratives, and he elbowed me real hard. He said, "You done good," and it just made my whole life better. So, yeah, just wanted to add that poem. And I don't know if there's more questions for me to answer. It's been a delight to be here, and hi, Miss Fontaine. Hi, I miss you, one of my students from Skyline College. Thank you, of course. Oh, I love you. And you keep doing everything that you're doing is inspiring online, from the workouts to everything else. Keep playing that guitar, that bass. Um, I was privileged to do a residency at Skyline College for Black Women Rock. So we taught a full Black Women Rock curriculum and produced the concert at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. I've got to bring this to England one day. I hope to bring Black Women Rock to this to the country in some, whether it's Wolverhampton, Birmingham, London, somewhere. But I think it'll happen one day. So
well, for everyone listening, Jessica was supposed to. We were flying her over in May to perform at Arts Fest, and obviously that didn't happen. So this is the best we get.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing anyway. But hopefully next year.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
We're fingers crossed. We're prayers up. I'm claiming it. I'm coming.
And you're bringing Irene as well. Bringing Irene.
Oh, I'm thinking my mom. Irene has to come. I don't know if she's listening, but she's here. You hear that? Claire said you have to come. We're gonna get my mom on the plane. Get the mom on the plane. But thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Thank you for supporting artists during this very interesting time for us. So we appreciate, and I appreciate you giving my voice to my voice on this platform. And hopefully I'll see you soon in real life. Take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. We've loved having you. Listening to We Want Our Bodies Back, it never ceases to give me goosebumps.
Thank you.
It's amazing. But please stay in touch. And
I will, I promise.
You know, we'll figure something out. And
let's figure it out. Yes, I want to come spend some time. When I come, I'm not going to just go right back home. We'll figure it out so I can stay and do some class visits.
Yeah, definitely. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Okay. Everybody, please stay with us. Our next and final event is coming up very shortly at 7:30, and it's a discussion about the Windrush generation experiences. These are interviews that are currently on display at Wolverhampton Art Gallery until the 20th of December. This and other events can be booked through Eventbrite. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you.